And, the book is filled with colorful characters like that, people that we all know of and all, admire, but not necessarily knowing that they intersected with you from an early age. Talk about your dad's student at Bromley.
Well, he had a few, but I know who you're talking about. Yes, well, I went to the year before I went to the school myself, because I was still in whatever we call it, junior school. You call it something else here, but so high school was basically where I met this chap, and we went on a Saturday before I went to the school. We went. There was a garden fete, like a little stands and selling stuff, and a local newscaster came and opened the fete and everything. It's a garden party basically, and so I noticed this band on the steps of the main entrance of the hall of the school, and they were great. I'd heard about them, the Conrads, and I'd heard that they were really good, and so I noticed the guitarist straight away because he had a white Fender Stratocaster in, like, this must have been 1962, which you don't get Stratocasters in England. So it was like I was drooling at that. And then the singer, I couldn't stop looking at the singer and marveling at what he was doing. He was playing sax and he was singing Elvis Presley songs and Buddy Holly, you name it. It was Dave Jones, who we know now as David Bowie. And so I said to my dad, I said, who's that on the end, that guy with the hair sticking up? And he said, oh, that's Jones. He said, is a very good student, and he's very talented musically, I think. Yes, very good. And so I said, oh, good, because he's great, Dad. So then the next year I go to the school, and at the first lunch break, I go straight to his table and say, my dad's Mr. Frampton. I saw you on this. I saw you play, And he said, oh, come on, sit down. So that was it. And we've been friends ever since.
I would love to talk about Pete Drake for a second. Tell everybody how you met Pete, and Pete teaching you a signature sound that you continue to show the world to this day.
Well, when I was very young, there's a station called Radio Luxembourg that's in Luxembourg that used to aim itself at England. We weren't supposed to pick it up, but we did. It was the only radio station at night you could hear American music, rock and roll.
Right.
So all the kids would listen to it. Well, their call sign was 208 on your AM dial, but the sound was it was like a talkbox sound, and that stuck with me. So fast forward to the George Harrison sessions at Abbey Road for All Things Must Pass, and we've done a couple of tracks, and I played acoustic sitting next to George for that, and George says that he's got Pete Drake's coming over from Nashville because he's going to play on some of the more country songs, like If Not For You, that George wrote with Bob Dylan and all these other ones. I said, oh, fantastic. And he said, yeah, he's on every country record you ever know and heard. So I said, oh gosh. So anyway, luckily Pete sits exactly opposite me and sets up his pedal steel, and I'm sitting, George is onto my right, and I'm here, and then Pete's facing me, and he sets up his pedal steel, and we did a track, and then probably If Not For You or something, and so then Pete says, Peter, you want to hear something different? I said, yeah, what you got? So I thought he was going to play me a lick on the pedal steel. Well, he gets his little bag out, gets this box, puts it on here, plugs it in, and gets the wires and plugs it in. I don't know what he's doing. And then he gets out a plastic tube, and he puts this tube, fixes it to this box, and he puts the tube in his mouth. And then he said, listen, and he plays the pedal steel and he starts singing to me. The pedal steel starts talking and singing to me. And I mean, I've got them now. I've got goosebumps the size of, an elephant. And I'm going, that's that sound.
From Radio Luxembourg, right?
Radio Luxembourg, but it's even better.
But following the same arc as Humble Pie, like we said, after the fourth studio album, you record a live album, and you recorded it mainly at Winterland in San Francisco. You present it to Jerry Moss, and Jerry Moss at A&M Records says, and I love this because, you don't think that a record executive, a record company president is going to say this. He's like, there's not enough music. Where are all the other songs?
Exactly. I'll never forget his face, because he was sitting in front of the console, so I couldn't see him while he was listening. It was we just mixed a single album because Dee said, let's not make the budget too high. You're already like on the fence with A&M right now. You're doing okay, but not great.
Right.
So we remixed. There was only 5 songs on the single album. So Jerry's head just comes slowly up over the console and he says, where's the rest?
Because he had been at the shows, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he said, where's Wind of Change? Where's this? Where's that? Where's Show Me the Way? Show Me the Way wasn't on there.
Wow. So you had to go out and do more shows and record more music, right?
Yes. He said, well, go record some more. I said, oh, fantastic. So we went out, did about 6 more shows, and we got Baby I Love Your Way from Plattsburgh College in Plattsburgh. We got Show Me the Way from Long Island, a hockey arena out there, and which is no longer there. And that was it. We came back and we had with an acoustic. I already had the acoustic set, which we hadn't mixed. So we mixed the acoustic set as well. And bingo, we had enough songs for a double album.